Hello, and thank you for joining us for stories from great previous Christians. You just don't hear this kind of preaching anymore. Today we have a short one from Vernon McGee. Did you know God hates things? There's 7 things he hates. Let's look at the number 1 thing, the danger of pride, from Vernon McGee. About 3 or 4 minutes here.
Interesting thing, when God saves you, in general it takes out of your life that thing that offends. And pride just happens to be one of the things that God hates. We hear a great deal about God is love, but God also hates. And you can't love without hating. You can't love the good without hating the evil. If you love your children, you'd hate any mad dog that came in the yard to bite your little one. You'd want to kill that mad dog. In no unmistakable language, God declares that he hates the pride of heart. Over in Proverbs 6:17, there are 7 things that God hates. And you know what number 1 on God's hate parade is? A proud look. God says he hates that. He hates that as much as he hates murder. James in the 4th chapter, verse 6, old practical James says, God resisteth the proud, but he giveth grace unto the humble. Pride is the undoing of man, actually. It's a great sin. In Proverbs 16:18 we read, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. In Proverbs 11:2, pride cometh, then cometh shame. And in Proverbs 29:23, man's pride shall bring him low. Now, why does God hate pride? Well, the definition of pride is excessive self-esteem. It's inordinate self-esteem. It's more than a reasonable delight in one's position and achievements. Paul put it like this, man ought not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Pride is placing an exorbitant price on self. It's demanding more than you are worth. Have you ever heard it said, I wish I could buy that man for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth? Pride is the difference between what you are and what you think you are. That is pride. And it was the pride of Satan. It was the sin of Satan that brought him down. God says, I'll bring you down, though you exalt yourself to heaven. And that was the sin of Eden. Man's pride runs counter to God's plan. And whenever they meet this friction, and there's no compromise, it's always a head-on collision. You see, God's plan of salvation is the supreme answer to man's pride. God lays man low. He takes nothing from man. And Paul could say of himself when he met Jesus Christ, but what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Christ. He gave up religion, he gave up everything, and he counted it but dung. He said, I flushed it. Christ and pride do not go together. And you can't be proud and at the same time trust Christ as your Savior. And if you trust Christ as your Savior, you've laid all your pride in the dust, my friend.
That's a word from Vernon McGee, and it's a good word. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for coming along. Lord keeping me around, Lord keeping you around. Lord tarrying and Lord willing. We'll see you again next time.